want to talk about how the public and private sectors work together to have multiplier effects. And on scale CDR, like this. Closer? Closer, okay. I will try and tackle my way a bit. So, I would like to start by getting everyone on the panel to introduce themselves, who they are, and who they work for. And we'll get straight to it. Yeah.
It's on. There we go. Hello everyone. Sorry, that was a bit loud. Shivani Katyal from the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero department in UK government. My day job is co-lead of the Voluntary carbon markets team, working very closely with our GGRs engineering team, things like our domestic consultation, coalition to pro-carbon, as I'm sure we'll cover those. Great to be here. Co-founder and CFO at Terradot. For those of you that are not from Brazil, yes, it is often this hot. And at Terradot, we mostly the finance function and our business operations.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Elman. I lead sustainability at Google for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I'm super excited about the session, both because of the topic, and this is my last panel of COP, and I'm going to so.
Well, congratulations. Go out with that. So, I'm going to set the scene a little bit. I want to talk about things that have happened in the last 12 months since the last COP. And I think there's been a lot, both on the public and on the private side. So firstly, on the public side, basically on the policy development CDR, one very obvious thing that happened at the last COP was Article 6 framework was established, so we're now moving into the implementation phase and real world transactions happening with Article 6.2, so that's a big change from Article 2. The second thing I want to call out is the way that carbon removal credits have finally started to be regulated directly by governments and are being injected into governments' compliance schemes. So in particular, I think the UK and the ETS were both confirmed over the last 12 months their intention to integrate carbon removal credits into their ETS schemes. So there are really significant developments in the last 12 months on the policy side. On the commercial side, things also moved quite rapidly. I might swap if that's a bit. We'll find out if it's my inability to use a microphone. So on the commercial side, in the last 12 months, 25 million tonnes of CDR have been purchased, and in 2024 the total was 8 million. So things are really starting to scale up. The second commercial bit of progress I wanted to highlight is that we've had the first of a kind credit issuances across 7 CDR pathways, including ocean alkalinity enhancement and enhanced spot weather. So really, really significant milestones for the whole industry as it starts to scale up. And one of all, is that this year we have a CDR Pavilion at COP. I want to talk for helping scale the CDR industry. Shivani views on how policy can and should shape carbon.
Hello? So sorry. So just sort of disclaimer up front, in the UK we refer to CDRs as GGRs. If I talk about GGRs then everyone should know what I'm talking about. I am sticking to the rule. So in the UK we recognise that GGRs are going to be really important for meeting net zero and enabling objectives to be met, balancing with certain sectors. The developing GGR scale and deployment. We recently put on budget growth and delivery plan, which sets out how the UK will continue to do in a way that lowers bills and supports the land 2008 Climate Change Act. The plan details the projected emission savings from which is basically our targets for the early. For GGRs, we have a one assumption of 0.7 of CO2 removals in 2030, ramping up to around 21 MT CO2 removals in 2030. I think these technologies are at an early stage and need to develop, and at the next to be targets. With that in mind, we've got quite an extensive policy framework in place, which covers sort of GGR-specific targeted policies, as well as like more framework policies around markets and carbon markets more generally, and obviously key demand drivers as well. So on innovation, we're delivering 100 million worth of innovation funding through new net zero innovation portfolio GGR program. It's now coming to a close, and the final reports are going to be published later this year. We have our GGR business model, which is focused on incentivising private investment, large contractual revenues. We have GGR project deployment, where we're publishing track 1 extension project negotiations, which includes 2 GGR projects. These projects are now going to proceed to the negotiations phase of the selection process. We have our UK ETS authority is working to integrate GGRs into the ETS. So we've signalled that intention and are published a response to a consultation with the inclusion of GGRs, aiming for the system to be operational in 2029, and legislation coming forward in 2028. It's a significant step in building a long-term credible market for renewables. The UK ETS authority has set an approach that involves the integrity of the ETS market through a one-in-one-out approach to integrating the European Commission to begin negotiating with our ETSs as soon as possible. We're basically to start and want to get this agreed as soon as possible. We also have a GGR standard underway, so that's working with the BSI to develop MRV standards, and that will also align where the LCF. So we're trying to build that alignment in right from the start. I think that's one of the things we're hearing is it's really important to start making sure that things are like we have aligned to work from. And then finally, we've consulted on a voluntary carbon and nature market framework, where we published some principles at last COP, which create an enabling framework for VCM to scale high integrity VCMs. Now, obviously, through that, we're not just talking about engineered GGRs, we're talking about all credits, but what we want to do is make sure that we have a framework that brings forward demand for all of those types of credits and sets clear expectations of what the technology looks like. There's also an independent review and also the Coalition to Grow Markets, which that coalition is really focused. Governments coming together to deliver strong signals of demand to the private sector that we can stimulate demand for. A comprehensive range of things, hope add up to an excellent sort of signal to the market that we're serious and want to scale the technology.
Just try to have an understanding. How many people are here more on the policy side? Private sector. So I think from our perspective, and just so everybody knows, right, Terradot, we're a natural weathering company. We remove carbon through rocks. That rock effectively dissolves into soil systems and then gets carried on its journey to the ocean. We're just about there behind that gentleman's head. You can see rock weathering between Bioterra and Ocean Output. And from our perspective, I think just hearing the list that Shivani just provided, I'm very happy to on this. Is the single important thing for a private sector developer is the signal most of our time thinking about is how do we build the bridge from a voluntary carbon market to a market? How do we make sure that is very, very, very important. And so for a startup, whether it's being able to all of that, the questions people are asking is where is the policy signal that this is actually big and necessary? So I think that's the first and most important thing. So I'm grateful for the moment. And to that point, there's a couple of jurisdictions that stand out from our perspective that are doing a really good job. The UK is one of them. The EU is another. Singapore, Japan, and obviously the Article 6 framework is also trying to think about how to do this on an international scale. So those are all. I think some of the concerns or points of attention for us as a developer that it's science focused and quality focused, so therefore measurement and verification of the highest quality is how standards at the regulated level are going to be equal or better than the standards that we have today. Right? And part of that challenge, I think, it's a real question, which is how do we think about bodies like this that can support and making sure there's consistency, both in terms of country markets and compliance markets, but jurisdictions, right? So the Japanese regulated market is not doing anything different. So that clarity is really the game. Accepting removals, removal, by when, how, what's the price, all contributing to positive signals for us that give us space to.
That's great. I want to talk a little bit about the way in which players and policymakers can place strategic bet to manage the CDR industry. I want to go to you first, Alan, and just get your as a buyer, how you think almost like first your role as how to organize
Thank you. I think we see the role of a big business like we're a business, we have a very uniform culture, and we're really trying to solve the carbon challenge beyond our four walls, because ultimately we're not